What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Guys, if you want to join the Wealth Builders financial community on Patreon, you know what to do. Get down to the description box, first link, which is the Wealth Builders Financial Community Patreon link. Click on it. It will take you over to Patreon, and you can sign up and come join the fastest growing financial community on Patreon. We're called the Wealth Builders. We got a couple thousand wealth builders in our financial community, and all we do in that financial community is help one another get to financial freedom and passive income. If you're in the matrix and you're all alone and you have nobody there to bounce ideas off of or questions off of and get nuggets and tips and best practices, what's working, what's not working, you need to get yourself down to the description box and click on that first link, that Wealth Builders Financial Community link. Come on over to Patreon, sign up, and then send me a DM letting me know you're there so I can say hello, and then let's go to work. Also, don't forget about Webull. They have a cash bonus offer. Second link down in the description box. Click on that Webull cash bonus offer. The good folks at Webull will give you a cash bonus based on whatever deposit you make, and all of that description, all of that is in the link, so click on it. But if you open a new Webull brokerage account, you put a certain amount of money in that account, they got different options, they're gonna give you a cash bonus. If you're interested in that, like I said, second link down in the description box, click on that Webull link and go get yourself some cash bonus. Well, all right, guys, today I want to walk you through my thoughts on Palantir and the stock basically dropping by 12% or so on Friday, June 27th. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to give you financial advice here. I'm just simply sharing with you my thoughts on Palantir. See, I'm a Palantir shareholder, and I have been since June. Matter of fact, scratch that. I've been a Palantir shareholder since January 2025, where I bought Palantir for my long-term investment portfolio. That's the portfolio I use to grow my assets at some point, hopefully in the future, and create passive income. So that's a full disclosure, not a financial advisor. I'm already a Palantir shareholder. This is not financial advice. This is just me giving you my opinion. So please only use it for that. Now, having said that, on Friday, while the market was going to all-time highs, specifically the S&P 500, you know, on Friday, June 27, the S&P got to 6,187 points, which is a new intraday all-time high. So you might ask yourself, Palantir is a part of the S&P 500 index. It is. Why in the world was Palantir going down, but the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow were all going up, and the overall stock market was going up? What happened to Palantir? I was saying the same thing, guys. I'm just a regular guy here, not an expert, just a regular guy. And I'm thinking, I'm a shareholder of Palantir, and I have been since January of this year. What in the world's going on? So I decided to get out and do a little bit of research and see what the experts are saying. Remember, I went out and did some research, and I'm just giving you my opinion. This does not mean it's the end all be all. You have to get out there and do your own research and come up with your own conclusion. But here are some things I want you to think about that I've researched to try to give me a better understanding of what should I do as it relates to my investment in Palantir. So here we go. Palantir stock volatility from $100 million deal to 12% drop over on lower government funds. This is coming from FX Leader's article that I read on Friday. Palantir Technologies delivered a dramatic display of market volatility this week, surging to record highs before retreating sharply. Now, here's a quick overview of their article, and then we'll get into my little 2 cents, my little opinion. Palantir Technologies experienced significant market volatility, reaching record highs after announcing a $100 million contract with the nuclear company before a sharp sell-off. The stock surged to an intraday peak of $148.22, driven by investor enthusiasm for its role in AI and defense, but fell 12% the following day to close at $130.74. Despite the late week decline, Palantir ended the week higher overall, supported by strong market conditions and investor confidence in the tech sector. Signs of stabilization in after-hours trading on Friday suggest some investors are betting on Palantir's long-term growth potential despite its characteristic volatility. Now, that's pretty interesting. You get a $100 million contract, your stock price goes to $148 a share and some change, which is an intraday all-time high. And then all of a sudden, the stock price retreats. Now, one of the reasons why it retreated from what I've read is that investors started taking profits. See, anytime, well, I won't say anytime, in my opinion, anytime these stocks hit like an all-time high, investors will come in and take some of the froth off of the top. Now, they may not liquidate their entire holding of Palantir, but what they will do is they'll come in and take some of the profits. You hit an intraday all-time high. Wow, while the getting's good, let me go ahead and take some profits. So one of the things that I read was that was one of the main reasons, is that, of course, they hit this profit. Another thing that I heard was that government contracts. Some people believe that government contracts could be pulling back. I guess the Defense Department came out with a revised budget, and it was going to be smaller than previously thought. And a lot of folks think that, hey, that may affect Palantir because a lot of Palantir's business is through government contracts, right? So let's look at this. Profit taking. After a strong upward trend and setting a new record high the previous day, some investors likely decided to sell shares to realize profits, contributing to the stock's decline. So that's one reason why some people believe the stock price sold off. People taking profits. Second reason, potentially why the stock sold off. Potential reaction to U.S. defense budget news. Recent reports suggest the U.S. defense budget might be slightly lower this year than last thought. This could have raised concerns among some investors about Palantir's revenue from government contracts, as the company has significant exposure in this sector. That makes sense. That's true. I mean, in my research, again, I'm no expert on Palantir and I'm not trying to be, guys. I'm just telling you in my experience, in my little research before I became a shareholder, they did have some significant contracts with the government, right? Department of Defense, some of the intelligence agencies. Now, don't get me wrong, they also have private sector as well. But if you go back and look at the grassroots of Palantir, in my opinion, they started out with these government contracts. That's kind of gave them the exposure they needed to start rolling. Now, like I said, they do still have private contracts with corporations and stuff like that. But a lot of their revenue does come from the Department of Defense and the intelligence agencies, right? Let's move on to another potential reason why the stock price came down. Easing tensions in the Middle East. Some news sources point to statements made by President Trump regarding the Middle East, conflicting easing as a factor that could have influenced the stock's performance. Maybe so, right? Easing tensions in the Middle East could have affected Palantir's stock price. Again, all hypothetical in my opinion, but this is what some of the people are saying out there. Technical factors. The stock's sharp drop after hitting record levels could be interpreted as a technical signal indicating that the buying momentum was overheated. The volume of shares traded also increased significantly during the decline, which could signal a potential increase in risk, right? So here are some of the reasons why, and again, guys, they're just reasons. That doesn't mean they're fact. Go out and do your own research, come up with your own conclusion. But in my research, these are some of the reasons. Taking profits, potential reaction to U.S. defense budget news, easing tensions in the Middle East, and then technical factors. The drop in Palantir's stock on June 27, 2025 appears to be a combination of factors, including profit taking after recent gains, potential investor concerns regarding defense spending, and possible reaction to geopolitical developments. So let's take a look at the actual stock and what it did on Friday, just to kind of get an idea. So on Friday, the stock opened at $144.87 a share. That's what it opened at on Friday. It got to a high of $144.97. And then the low was $130.54. And it closed at $130.74. Now, if we go look at this company and what it's done in its stock price over the last 52-week high and 52-week low, let's take a look. The 52-week low for Palantir is $21.23. The 52-week high is $148.22. Now, that 52-week high of $148.22 was an intraday high in this past week. So it's come a long ways. Now, personally, I decided to become a shareholder in this company, like I told you earlier, back in January 2025. And I bought in, and my cost was about $66 a share. So I'm loving what Palantir is doing. My question for me, not for you, but for me, is it time to buy more? Given the fact that we had a slight pullback. Is it time to buy more, or do I wait? Is there more pullback coming? I don't know the answer to that. I'm no expert here. I'm just a guy out here trying to figure out a way to deploy and plant seeds and get a harvest. That's the question I'm asking myself is, was this just a profit taking some of the froth? I also am concerned about, if the Department of Defense budget is smaller, if the intelligence agencies' budgets are smaller, does that affect revenue? I don't know the answer to all those questions, guys. I'm not an expert in Palantir. These are just questions I'm asking myself as I try to determine if I'm going to buy more at this price. It closed at 130, but in aftermarket, After market on Friday, it quickly got itself up to about 134.52. What does that mean? Does that mean there's support for this thing to go higher next week? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to think through this weekend. And do I position myself on Sunday when, overnight opens or aftermarket or whatever you want to call it? You know how sometimes on some of your apps, on your brokerage accounts, the brokerage apps, you can go in and trade on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time or do I just see how this thing plays out on Monday morning in pre-market? See how it plays out. That's the question I'm going to have to answer this weekend for myself. Do I buy more? And when I say buy more, I'm talking about in my short-term investment strategy, not my long-term investment strategy. Because remember, I told you I've already became a shareholder in the company back in January for my long-term strategy. The question is, do I buy and plant seeds for the short-term strategy on Monday, given the fact that where the stock was this week to where it closed on Friday? Is that an opportunity to plant some seeds? Now, also, the company has had some strong quarterly numbers. Now, again, I'm not an expert here, guys. I'm not trying to tell you anything that you can't go out and research yourself. I'm just going to read you what the company did in their latest quarterly earnings report. So this is as of March 2025, quarter end March 2025. $883.85 million in revenue. That's a 39.34% year over year improvement. Net income, $214.03 million, which is a 102.82% year over year increase. Diluted EPS or earnings per share, 0.08, which is a 100% year over year increase. Net profit margin, 24.22%, which is a 45.55% year over year increase. Again, to me, I'm no expert here, but that sounds like pretty good numbers to me. The question is, what about second quarter? What will they do for the second quarter? Which probably that Q2 report will probably come out sometime in July, I would imagine. But I have no indication of how they did in the second quarter, right? So gotta be on the lookout for that. But for right now, certainly in my opinion, a highlight was them, inking that $100 million contract with the nuclear company, right? That was a highlight. When you have $100 million contract signed, that was a highlight from last week. And again, is this an opportunity to plant some seeds? That's the question that I'm going to be working through. I'm going to be working through that question this week. Do I stay on the sideline and wait for further pullback? Will there be more pullback? Now, if I had the answer to that, you know what I'm saying? I'd be a tycoon right now. But I don't have the answer to that, right? That's why I'm having this conversation with you. Is will there be more pullback? Remember, I'm not an expert here. I'm just a regular guy trying to figure out where I plant seeds to get a harvest, right? So let me walk you guys through what some of the experts are saying. Here's what some of the experts are saying. Despite Friday's sharp drop, Palantir still closed the week higher overall, buoyed by strong underlying market conditions. Major U.S. indices posted robust weekly gains of around 4%. monster, right? Reflecting renewed investor confidence in the economy's resilience, easing rate fears, and continued enthusiasm for AI and tech leaders. Palantir's run was emblematic of this broader bullish environment, even as its late week retreat reminded traders to watch valuations carefully. So that's one of the big things is it overvalued? Again, I'm not smart enough to tell you that, guys. You got to go out and do your own research and figure that one out for yourself. But that's one of the things people are starting to say. Is this thing overvalued? Can this continue based on, their current revenues? Right? Can this continue? That's the big question. Adding a layer of caution, the U.S. Department of Defense released its base budget request for fiscal 2026 at $848 billion, a figure that represents a modest decline in real terms after accounting for inflation. The news may have tempered some of the long-term bullishness around defense-related contractors, including Palantir, which is heavily tied to government and military contracts. You feel where I'm going with this? So some people may be thinking, government pulling back a little bit on the budget, will this affect future contracts for Palantir? That's a question I don't have the answer to. Signs of stabilization in after-hours trading, while Friday's close left Palantir well off its record high, there are early signs of stabilization in post-market trading. Some investors appear eager to buy the dip, betting that the company's strong AI pipeline and its high-profile defense contracts will continue to support long-term growth, even if near-term volatility remains a hallmark of the stock. And that's the thing, guys. You got to think about that, right? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking, can this continue at this pace? Can it continue at this pace? I don't know. That's the question I'm trying to answer in my mind before Monday, June 30th. That's the question I got to answer before Monday, June 30th. Do I get back in this thing, or do I wait for a further pullback? Don't know. Got to figure that out by Monday morning. I gotta have an answer for that. This is coming from FX Leaders. In conclusion, Palantir's trading week perfectly captured its promise and peril. A headline-grabbing AI deal, that was with the nuclear company, that $100 million AI deal, right? That was good news. That was a positive catalyst. That was a tailwind. A headline-grabbing AI deal sent shares soaring to new heights before traders slammed the brakes with aggressive profit-taking. While the pullback was sharp, the stock still delivered net weekly gains in step with a strong market backdrop. Investors will be watching closely to see if Palantir can consolidate at these elevated levels, or is its characteristic volatility continues to dominate the story in the weeks ahead. What do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen? Drop it down in the comments. What do you think is going to happen on Monday, June 30th? Number one, pre-market. What do you think the stock will land pre-market on Monday morning. Do you think it will be bullish? Do you think pre-market on Palantir will be bullish, or do you think it will be bearish on Monday? Is it an opportunity to buy the dip? Or is it an opportunity just to find you a different way to plant seeds and something different and leave this thing alone? I got to come up with the answers to those questions myself, guys, this weekend. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to share this with you on Saturday morning, so that potentially, if you guys are interested in this company, maybe you can get you some research done. That's what I'm going to be doing these next couple days, this day and a half. On Sunday, I want to be able to zero in on my strategy on Sunday. But today, I'm just going to do a little research, figure it out. But if you're asking me early on Saturday, if you're asking me what my gut is telling me, and again, I'm not an expert here, guys. I'm just giving you my gut. I'm just giving you my feeling, my anticipation on what I believe will happen. Again, that doesn't mean it will happen. Could go to the opposite. Could go opposite of whatever I say, right? So I'm telling you, I'm not an expert, and this is not financial advice. So don't listen to me. Go out and do your own research. But what I'm thinking is, this thing is going to go higher. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this thing is going to go higher next week. I'm thinking it'll recover next week and potentially go higher. That's what I'm thinking. So the question is, on Monday, do I get in pre-market, or do I wait and get in the normal hours? Maybe I apply the 10 a.m. rule, right? Maybe I apply the 10 a.m. rule on Monday, right? Because based on my research, the most volatile time in the stock market, in my research, again, this is not me telling y'all this is 100% accurate, guys. I'm just telling you my research. In my research, the most volatile part of the stock market during the day is in the first 30 minutes, right? So the 10 a.m. rule basically states, don't do anything for the first 30 minutes. That would be 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's when so I'll have to figure that out. Do I go pre-market? Because I'm telling you where I'm feeling right now, I think this thing goes higher because why? When you look at the overall market right now, it's bullish, it's positive. You got, all-time high in the S&P. You got the Dow over 43,000. You got the Nas over 20,000. And you look at, those companies, those artificial intelligence companies, those semiconductors like NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, even Supermicro Computer. When you look at these companies, what they did all last week, especially NVIDIA, listen, man, NVIDIA, I think pulled all the way. I think they hit an intraday on Friday. And again, this doesn't mean they'll do that next week. I'm just telling you what they did on Friday based on just fact. This ain't me speculating or trying to guarantee somebody nothing. I don't guarantee nothing. But what I'm telling you is on Friday, NVIDIA got to $158.71 as a intraday high. And they closed at $157.75. Now, guys, I think that's a 52-week high for NVIDIA. I mean, 158.71, that's the 52-week high for NVIDIA. 52-week low, $86.63. And y'all know that was after Liberation Day. The week of Liberation Day, the tail end of Liberation Day week, is when NVIDIA basically went down to $86 a share. And you're talking about 3.5 months later, they hit an intraday of 158.71. These are facts, guys. This is not me trying to speculate and guarantee nobody nothing, because I can't do that. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I have to keep reiterating that, because some people think because some guy gets on YouTube and says something about a stock, he's trying to be an expert. No, I'm not. I'm just giving you my opinion. So go do your own homework. Stop Stop trying to put all your stuff on me. I'm just a guy sharing his opinion. Don't put your stuff on me. Put it on yourself. That's what's wrong with us in this country. We always want to blame other people for our own mistakes. No, blame you for your mistakes. I'm not there to make you push no buttons. You push buttons when you want to push them, not me. I can't push them for you. What do you think, I'm a ventriloquist? What do you think, I'm a puppet master? Jesus. Okay, nevertheless, I digress. NVIDIA. So when you look at companies like NVIDIA, you look at companies like AMD, what AMD has done over the last week. Think about AMD, guys. I mean, think about AMD, what they've done over the last week. Now, that don't mean it's going to continue. I'm just telling you what they did over the last week. I mean, AMD, y'all talking about on Friday, AMD had a high stock price of $147.75. This is AMD, guys. So all I'm telling you is how long this will last with semiconductors, I don't know. But right now, it seems to be a rotation in to tech. And I still believe Palantir is a tech company. That's what I believe. I believe they're a tech company. They take large amounts of data, guys, and they have this software that they run this data through that breaks the data down. And then whoever gets that data from them can easily make decisions. That's all I can tell you. Now, you got to go out, guys, and do your own homework and figure out what you need to do with your wealth and building your wealth. I just wanted to give you my little 2 cents on Palantir and what my belief is. My belief, and again, it's no expert belief. It could be totally wrong, and I've been wrong many times. But my gut feeling tells me this thing is going to pick up on Monday, and by weekend, it'll go higher. That's my opinion now. That doesn't mean that will come true. I'm not trying to be some Nostradamus here. I'm just telling you what my gut feeling is. It could be totally the opposite. So that's why it's very important for you to go out and do your own homework and critically think through this thing. Don't use me to be the critical thinker for you. You go critically think for yourself. Go out and do your own homework, or go get you a professional financial advisor or somebody and have them help you. But I'm not a professional financial advisor. I'm just a guy giving you my opinion, and therefore that's all it is. Not financial advice, not trying to give you any advice. That's not what I do. All I try to do is share my opinion with you guys and where I believe I need to be planting seeds in order for me to, but you guys always know I tell you this is again, my opinion. The whole purpose of the stock market is to go higher. I don't care, tariff tensions, all this other stuff. Y'all can put a potential, softening in the, again, guys, we can, that's fine. All of those are factors, but at the end of the day, the stock market is about going higher, and any excuse that these investors, these institutional investors, these hedge funds, these billionaires, these retail, any way they can make that happen, they're going to make it happen. That doesn't mean it don't pull back. Yes, part of the stock market is having corrections and consolidations. Yes, that's part of it. But if you look at the history of this thing, what does history tell you? It goes up. That's what history says. Not Richard, history. Go look at the history. Overall, even with the pullbacks and the consolidations and the corrections, which we are having and will continue to have, the overall premise of this thing is to go higher. So for me, I'm looking at a company like Palantir saying, still the darling of the government. The government, I believe, from what I've read, I don't have any proof of this, but from what I've read, the Trump administration they like Palantir. They're working together. That's what I read. That's what my research is. That doesn't mean it's true. So you go out and do your own fact finding. My job here is not to fact find for you. My job here is to tell you what I've uncovered. You got to go figure out your own thing. Now, from what I've uncovered, the Trump administration likes Palantir. They're working together on this large data collection, whatever they're doing with it, I don't know, but that's what I've read. So that's a plus for Palantir. That's a plus. Now, on top of that, they signed this $100 million deal with the nuclear company. I think what happened on Friday was profit taking. That's what I believe. I believe they probably had a pretty monster Q2. I don't know that for a fact. I don't have privy to their financial statements. I'm just giving you my hunch. I'm giving you a hunch, my hunch. That's it. That don't mean it's right. But I believe they're going to probably have a pretty good Q2. I think the stock continues to push higher. Is it overvalued? That's above my pay grade. I don't know if it's overvalued or not. I do know a large part of the stock market and a large part of companies moving up in value is momentum driven. That's what I believe. A large part of it is momentum driven. Some investors may think it's overpriced. Some investors may think it's underpriced. Some investors may think it's priced perfectly. I don't know. Everybody got their own different opinions, guys. So I'm not here to try to say my opinion is the only opinion. There are many of them out there. My job is to figure out which companies have that moment. They're on that momentum jet. And I think, based on everything I've researched, Palantir is on the momentum jet. Now, will that be that way all times? Not necessarily. Anything can happen, right? Anything could happen. But right now, I think they're on the momentum jet. And I think on Monday, I think they'll continue this next week. I think next week it will continue to go high. Now, how high it'll go, I don't know. Maybe they get back to whatever there was. I don't know. But I'm leaning towards maybe planting some seeds, pre-market or 10 a.m. rule, and see what this thing goes, right? But that's my decision. And if it goes the other way against me, I live with it. That's just part of trying to build wealth, man. No guarantees. I might put money in real estate, a real estate property. And guess what? Don't get no tenants. I got to live with that. I might put some money in a business idea that I have, thinking I can develop some type of service or product for the marketplace. Put a bunch of money in it, flops. That's the risk you take. Stock market's no different. I don't know why we feel like the stock market is anything different. No, it's an investment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work. The goal is to work more than it don't work. That's the goal, at least for me. Drop them down in the comment box, man. Let me know what y'all think Palantir gonna do on Monday. Does it resume upward or does it pull back more? Love to get your feedback, so drop it down in the comment box and let me know what y'all think Palantir is gonna do on Monday morning, June 30th. Does it ascend or does it descend? Love to know your comments. Again, guys, if you want to be a part of the Wealth Builders financial community on Patreon, you know what to do. Get down to the first link in the description box. Click on the Wealth Builders financial community Patreon link. It'll take you over to Patreon. Got a couple thousand wealth builders there. All we do in that community is talk about the stuff that I just walked you through here on my little YouTube channel. But you'll have direct access to me to be able to DM me, ask me questions. Again, no expert here, just giving you my opinion. Ultimately, you got to go out and make your own decision. But it's nice to have a community where you can bounce questions and ideas off of people, right? And figure out what they doing. Maybe to help you kind of realize your strategy. Man, it would be nice to have that. Right now, you're in the matrix by yourself and you ain't got nobody to do nothing. The only thing you can do is watch YouTube videos. But you can't do nothing else because ain't nobody there to help you. And again, the help is not trying to be experts. The help is just sharing what we do. When you got 2,000 people headed in the same direction, financial freedom, it's hard to knock that. So if you want to be a part of that community, get yourself down to the first link in the description box and click on that Wealth Builders Financial Community Patreon link. It'll take you over to Patreon. Sign up. Come join us. We'd love to have you over there. And then send me a DM to let me know you're rocking with me and to let me know you're ready to get going. And again, no expert here, but certainly we'll share what we do in hopes that could potentially shed some light on what you might be able to do. Also, if you want that Webull offer, that cash bonus Webull offer, that's the second link down in the description box. The good folks at Webull are willing to give you a cash bonus based on the deposit you make to your new brokerage account. If you open up a new brokerage account with Webull, based on the deposit that you make, and all the options are going to be in the link. So it's the second link down in the description box. Just click on that link. It'll tell you all the requirements in order to get the cash bonus if you want to open up a new Webull brokerage account. Like I said, second link, go take advantage of that cash bonus today. Stop by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing, share the video, smash the like button. Thoughts become things. You can see it in your mind and hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.